So, 7 House Democrats have come forward to publicly call on President Biden to drop out of the presidential race as they fear for their own election odds. Our next guest, who's running for Joe Manchin's seat, which is one at risk, Democratic Senate candidate Glenn Elliott joins us now. He's also a former mayor. Glenn, thanks so much for getting up and joining the program. I guess when we look at the state of things right now, ever since the debate, why aren't there more Democrats publicly saying, hey, this can impact our race?
First of all, Lawrence, thanks for the opportunity to be here today.
You got it.
Look, the president had a really bad debate, and to come back from that, I think the president has to show the American people that he has the vitality, the ability to do this job. And I think he needs to put himself in situations where that can be tested. And if he can't do that, I do think, he has to consider what's best for the country at this point. I know a lot of down ballot races can be impacted by this. Now, of course, I'm running in West Virginia, where it doesn't matter who the Democratic nominee is. I doubt that person is going to win because of the popularity of the former president here. But I do think for a lot of races, it can make a difference. And I certainly hope that the president, thinks about putting himself in situations where he can be tested. Go on your show, go on the media, go on shows where maybe the questions are going to be tough and he has to respond accordingly. And if he can't do that test, I do think he has to think about stepping aside. We're not there yet. I think he can come back from it. But at this point, that remains to be seen. The ball's in his court.
Glenn, we continue to welcome on our program anytime. We would love to speak with the current president. Michael Bennet puts it this way. He's in the Senate. He said, I think we could lose the whole thing. He said, referring to the White House as well as both chambers. So I guess I'm fascinated with the operation of the Democratic Party because we know behind the scenes, whether it's the Obama allies or members of Congress privately, they're saying that he has to go, that he cannot recover from this. So what is the pressure that they're feeling from the White House or Democratic establishment? How does it work within the party?
Well, I'm not really inside the party establishment. I'm here in Wheeling, West Virginia. But, obviously, I do think a lot of donors are upset. I think that we spent the last week and a half talking about the president's mental health instead of talking about the fact of what's at stake at this election. The former president in that debate probably lied 25 or 30 times, but we're not talking about that. So that's a problem. Anytime you make your healthy issue, that's a problem.
You know why we're not talking about that? Because we can't talk about the fundamental differences in policy when you don't have a candidate that's there on the debate stage. I think we would have loved to go back and forth. I know you said that they're lies, and I'm sure I can go through the list of lies for the current president. But we would have loved the next day to focus our coverage on the policy differences of the candidate. Unfortunately, we couldn't get there because 10 minutes into the debate, Joe Biden can really complete sentences.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not making excuses for the president. It wasn't a good debate. But debating former President Trump is not an easy task for anybody. He comes at you fast, he comes at you hard, and he's not really tethered to the truth. So, I don't think President Biden was prepared for that debate. I think he was trying to respond to
Do you think he's fit for office right now?
But I think it's incumbent upon him to prove to the American people that he still has what it takes to be president. He's had an incredibly successful record. For me here, in the state of West Virginia, my opponent in this race has been trying to take credit for a lot of projects that only happened because of the Biden administration, because Senator Manchin was the key vote to bring economic investment into this state. So he's been a successful president. He can do the job. But at this point, he has to prove to the American people that he still has it. And after that debate, I think it's going to take a lot of appearances in the media, in some very tough settings where he can prove that. And if he can't do it, I think it's incumbent upon him to step aside for the good of the country and for the good of the party.
I hope the president is listening, Glenn. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time this morning.
My absolute pleasure.
You got it.